still in your position of Ethereum?
Yeah. Look, I mean, to me, ultimately, you have a case here where you're seeing a broadening of the entire market. You have a case where I think people are looking to also have diversification and other exposure. The reality is, when you start hearing about, Sweden, Riksbank is also thinking about having a digital krona, and you have a case where clearly the question about not, the existential question has been answered as far as I'm concerned. Now it's really about finding the best top technology, the best usage, and then you get into liquidity issues. So I think in the case of Ethereum, I still think liquidity needs to go higher institutionally, and therefore it's going to be the top 4 or 5 horses.
All right, well, it's not just cryptocurrencies that have been surging. More companies just keep getting in on the crypto craze. For example, Chanticleer Holdings soaring almost 50% today after announcing that it would be using blockchain technology for a loyalty program. Customers can essentially mine cryptocurrencies by eating at Chanticleer branded restaurants. It's a burger chain, by the way, and can use them for future meals. Next guest says the company is getting in on the crypto boom. Need to watch out. A big crackdown could be on the way. Jake Zemansky is a partner at Zemansky LLC and a top authority in securities arbitration law. Jake, great to have you with us.
Thank you.
I knew it was going to be a matter of time before we had you on the show. There's a big difference between things that are actually in violation of securities laws and things that just don't smell right. Right. So what is actually in violation of laws right now in your...
Right now, we're seeing the SEC going after initial coin offerings and claiming that they have to be registered as securities. That's a securities offering. That provides investor protection, disclosures, things like that. We're seeing manipulation, some wild swings in Bitcoin-related stocks. I'm also concerned that there's some pump and dump schemes going on out there.
It's specifically in ICOs.
Not in ICO, Bitcoin-related stocks.
Such as, like, the one...
The ones we talked about here on this.
Yeah, crypto.
Are there specific targets right now that you're looking at?
I've been hearing from investors who are getting pitched by brokers to get into some of these Bitcoin-related cases. There have been 4 class actions already filed. State regulators are looking at it. People are borrowing money on their houses, mortgages to jump in on the Bitcoin train. So I am looking at some specific cases. The regulators are there, and there's a lot of questions for investors.
So I want to peel back the onion, because there are a lot of ways you can sort of go after these targets. For instance, the ICOs I get, that sounds like these are cases of fraud in large part from the SEC standpoint. In terms of these companies, is it wrong for a company to say, I'm going to call myself Melissa Blockchain instead of Melissa Pet Store?
Yes,
right, exactly. Is there fraud on my part, or is it the brokers who sell my stock who say, you know what, I know this great blockchain stock called Melissa Blockchain. Used to be a pet store, but now it's a blockchain stock. What is your target?
All right. What we're looking at are companies that are making false statements in selling the stocks. One company was saying we're the fastest blockchain in the world. Consulting companies that are going public. Reverse mergers into pet stores and things like that you mentioned. So if the balance of information is false and misleading, and you see stock rises and falls, we're going to be bringing cases against those companies. If there's manipulation, stock goes up. There was one stock that went up, 200% in one day, 1,000% in a week, on a very small movement. Those could be market manipulations by insiders or other investors that are trying to move the stock. That's the classic pump and dump.
Right. These things are kind of hard to prove, aren't they? I mean, what strikes me about a lot of the press releases these companies issue when they're changing their name to whatever blockchain, for instance, is that they're sort of vague. They're saying, we're going to now make investments in blockchain technology. They're not promising anything. They're not going to say blockchain is our primary technology or blockchain is our primary product or anything like that. They're saying things like, we are going to start looking into, blockchain investment opportunities.
You better be careful with what you say and how you're conducting your business. If you're really a pet company and a small percentage of your company is blockchain and you're using the name, that could be fraudulent. So, look, they're good companies. There's good places to invest in this space. But there are also the seedy people that are out there. I'm hearing about it. It's reminiscent of the dot-com boom and bust when anything internet became a stock public offering. And as we know, many of them failed and many of them were scams.
So what should investors look for when they're looking at these stocks, right? So I look at Walmart and they say they're using blockchain to track pork prices in China. Does there actually have to be a use case, or is it just good enough to say, if a company is just saying, hey, we're going to use blockchain for something, should investors look at that as a red flag?
Not necessarily. I'm talking about companies where they're touting their ability to market Bitcoin, be consultants, and maybe improve the process. Those are the companies you have to look at carefully. Now, investors are usually listening to brokers and pitches. It's important to do your own homework. Go to Edgar, look at the SEC filing. If you get a prospectus on a new offering, pick it up and read it. You don't have to read it cover to cover, but have some idea of what's going on. And if you don't understand it, pass on the investment, try something else.
I want to ask you about a case that we have been following here on this show.